All right, and my last question to you is, if all goes well, Hex takes off, no bugs, we move along, we get past those 50 weeks. Let's say 3 years out, where do you see Hex? Could we be in the top 10?
Could be top one. 3 years out, could be top
Wow.
one.
Top one, awesome.
I don't have a
Wow.
lot of respect for what I see from any other projects whatsoever. I don't see compelling advertisements in the general public. I don't see, I mean, the only people I saw doing compelling general public advertisements was BitConnect. BitConnect had a big fancy show with people on stage and fireworks and shit, and they made hundreds of millions of dollars on a straight up scam. But they earned it. They actually went out there and did fucking outreach and did marketing and got people into their scam, right? So now we just need that same shit for a non scam. Same stuff. You have to, if you want your project to scale quickly, you have to do the same marketing stuff that's worked for every other business. You can't just build it and hope they come. That shit does not work.
You feel that we could really be in the top coin out
Sure,
there,
why
top
not?
market cap?
If
That
you
is
if
something
you if you're
unbelievable.
trustless and you show mad gains, that's all you need. And truthfully, in crypto, to trustless is optional. EOS votes to just take users' money. Just take it. It's literally the blockchain default judgment. Top 10 crypto. Higher price than its ICO price still in the bear market.
Hmm.
Okay, where's the trustless in that, right? Tether. Hey, maybe I got a bank account. Maybe it's got some money in it. Maybe sometimes this is worth $1. Give me all your money. People do it. Like, and how much money can you make? How can you kind of go up to $2? Probably not. So like, people buy billions of dollars of that shit. So you tell me people buy billions of dollars of coin, totally 100% centralized, that can't possibly even double. Yep, that's what's going on. That's the world we live in. Well, fuck. Like, exactly how hard should it be to be top 10? Like, it shouldn't be that hard, right? If you have an audited project that was fairly launched, that has unique things that the crypto ecosystem's never seen before, like the first blockchain CD, and a referral program, and a hell of a good memes team, and like just like how many followers did Vitalik have when he launched ETH? I got more followers than he had. Well,
Hmm.
fucking a, like I'm farther ahead, right? I got 1,500 people joining my chat room a day. We got 2,000 whatever users in BitcoinHEX only chat, right? With no demo, no working product. Like, fuck, we're doing good, man. I'm happy.
And people got to remember, when you're getting something for free, even if it goes up to a penny, you still got it for free.
Yep.
So, there's nothing better than that,
Yep.
and the fact that nobody's came up with this idea and the way you're doing this is really unbelievable because CDs are a bank's probably, I guess, second or third biggest item they offer at banks.
Yep.
For somebody to put this on a blockchain, I just can't believe it hasn't been done yet. And
Yeah,
my hats
there's
off.
stuff that's been close, but there's like, so you've got like masternodes coins and proof of stake coins, and they're close, but they're missing like really important things. In those coins, when you want to get out, you can just get out. Oh, China's banning it, dump it, right? In this, you're in, you're in. You ain't getting out. You want out, you're going to pay an emergency end stake penalty. Half of it's going to go to the staker pool. They're happy to see you eject. Oh, you don't like the price? It's looking bad. Hit that eject button, right? So, so like, it would be funny if the staker pool like released fake FUD to get people to like emergency end stake as like a revenue source because they get paid on it, right?
So
Sure.
much
That,
game theory in this, man. It's incredible.
yeah, and so it's in a normal bank, right? They pay you 20% more the longer that you stake, but they don't pay you more if less people stake. In this system, you get paid more because you're a member of a pool with smaller people diluting you. It's a smaller pool. So all of the inflation of the currency is going to come to the pool. If there's more members in the pool, you get less. If there's less members in the pool, you get more. Normal CD doesn't work like that. And normal CDs do have, they will hit you in principal on their penalties. They do penalize you about half of your So if you said you were going to stake for a year and then you get out on a normal CD, they penalize you about half a year. So they always penalize you about half with a 3-month minimum until you get to like 2 years and up. And then they start to give you like just, we'll hit you just a year, year and a half all the way. Like they just don't hit you as hard. But our game theory is that we want to keep hitting you for that half the whole way because you were reducing the payouts of everyone else in the pool because you got all those bonus shares from staking longer. So since you reduced everyone else's payout, you wanted to pay the high risk, high reward. Well, you better stay staked half as long as you said you would, or you're going to get hit in principal. If you end stake after you've served more than half the time, you're still going to end up cash positive. You're going to lose a lot of the interest you would have made otherwise, right? Or you could just do what you said you're going to do and stay staked as long as you said you would, and you're going to make mad gains, right? Like that's the whole idea. The other systems not having a mechanism to keep you staked and not increasing your payout, like when there's less people staking, those are errors, right? They're failures in the game theory. So this is the purest analog. This is the only product I'm aware of that is on the blockchain that pays you more for committing to stake longer, which is the whole thing that makes CDs work, right? Like that's what CDs are meant to do. I think it's pretty awesome. I'm happy with it. It's $600 billion a year just in the United States alone in CDs. And those are only like non-jumbo CDs. I don't even have good numbers on how much is in the 100K and up jumbo CDs. And globally, we're talking a multi-trillion-dollar industry. So I don't know why I would need my token to do anything better than just this thing. Does it do more throughput than Bitcoin? Yes. Does it do cheaper transactions? Yes. Is it less? Is it never had an inflation bug? Yep. Is it audited? Yep. Is it less likely to ever have any bugs because it can't be changed? Yes. That's all awesome. But do we even need any of those things? We just actually need the blockchain CD. But the fact that we have all that other stuff is awesome too.
So after the 52 weeks,
50
basically, after the 50 weeks, the only thing that you could do at that point then is purchase from somebody else, purchase from an exchange, or stake your coin.
I mean, everyone that didn't have Bitcoin at Snapshot's pretty much going to have to market buy from someone that did claim.
Okay.
Or referred somebody, etc. Got coins basically. And there's nothing wrong with market buying. Like if you have a shitty deal getting in and out of a currency and you don't have a good entry and exit and you're paying high fees to do it. I mean, if your only entry and exit to Bitcoin was an ATM and you had a 20% round trip, you would be better off market buying as long as HEX traded for less than 20% of a Bitcoin, right? So if your round trip is 20%, you'd be better off market buying as long as the token was less than 20%, right? At exchange. So like if the rate at which you get in and get out of Bitcoin is bad enough, then you're probably just better off buying from someone that got in at a better rate.
Got it.
It's unlikely that the token will launch at parity with Bitcoin. It's unlikely.
I'm sure you're right about that.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you're not doing this for free, Rich. May I ask where
Sure.
how do you make money on this?
Yeah. So, I won't tell you about me specifically, but I will tell you about this thing called the origin address, which may appease your desire. So there's an origin address that gets a copy of bonuses. It does not get interest. It does not get base claims. It just gets bonuses. So if a lot of people refer people, then there's more referral payout. Then it gets a copy of the referral payout. If a lot of people claim and the crit and virality goes up, it gets that. If anything that's a bonus, that's not a base claim or interest, it gets a copy of. So it's hard to know when people will claim and how much they'll claim. So it's hard to know what it will make.
Got it.
Might make a third, might make a half, can't make a half. It's physically impossible to make a half because if it's only getting a subset of things that someone else is getting, it would need to get all the things someone else is getting in order to get half. So it's physically impossible to get half. It's hard to calculate, but it's funny when people ask. So it seems like anytime people ask about this, they're like, "How can we make that thing make less money?" And you're like, "Well, are you sure you want that? If that thing has enough money to be cash positive advertising, then it might advertise. Or if it wants to list on an exchange and it costs like $1 million to list, it might do that. I can't promise anything because no one knows who it is." But like, you know,
We'll call him
how
Joe.
poor,
We'll
how
just say Joe. It's
how poor
Joe's
do you want to
brand.
make it, right? Like, do you want to make sure that it can't be cash positive marketing, right? And then you look at the top 10, and you're like, all right, Ripple has got 40 or 60% of their coins owned by founders. They're number 2 crypto. Number 2. They used to not be, but they are now, right? And then Lumens has got 80% of their coins in a foundation. So 20% are on market, and they're like number 9 crypto. And then you go down the list, and you're like, wait a second. It turns out this like having no whales thing is a terrible idea, because the centralized coins that have like centralized ownership do marketing partnerships and media buys and like have strong dev teams because they can afford to, because they don't have this wide distribution of holders that make it so that no one can be cash positive buying a new user. Like, so it's hard. It's really, really, really hard to explain to people why having like no one, like, you need a badass entity to like Bitcoin is, it can't even sue the bitcoin.com people for like selling a fake Bitcoin. They're literally just like, yeah, rotate the logo a little bit, call it the real thing, put it higher in the list, right? Like, they can't even catch a lawsuit over that because no one has the rights to do it, because it's so distributed that people would just lose money trying to do it, right? So it can't even, it doesn't even own the .com name, retarded. Can't defend itself against imposters, you know, can't do Super Bowl ads, can't, like, it's just fucking crippled to death because there's not a large enough stakeholder. So those are the two things that hit as soon as you claim, the refer and the speed bonus. The other awesome stuff, the stuff where you can make like, you know, 3x, 10x, 30x your stack, that's from staking. That means you lock up your coins. So if you lock up your coins, you get the speed, you get the critical mass bonus, the virality bonus. Those are like how many people claimed of the total, right? So if 100% of people claimed, it's gonna 100% your other bonus, right? And the biggest portion of that, so you've got interest, that's a little tiny portion during these 50 weeks. It's like 1% of your bonuses. The biggest bonuses during this 50-week claim phase are the coins that are unclaimed, like Satoshis and people that lost their keys and people that couldn't claim because technology doesn't support it, right? So like we don't let multi-sig addresses claim. So like giant exchanges can't claim. They're going to get redistributed. And then all those, so your coins are going to get redistributed to you into the staker pool are just like gigantic. You'll make a multiple of your stack, right?
Wow.
So that's the like real deal bonuses that are going to matter the most. So like I modeled it, and my model came up with something like a 30x or a 50x return on your stack if there was only 1% stake participation, but that's like very unlikely. I think a lot more than 1% of people will stake. I think like 80% of people will stake. So after I did all these spreadsheets, you figure out, you're like, all right, this needs to punch harder. And then I thought, okay, well, we have this longer pays better bonus, longer pays better. So if you stake an extra year, you get paid an extra 20%, which is like how the real world works, right? So if you go from a 1-year CD to a 2-year CD, you get about 20% more interest. So I just copied what already works in the real world. And the issue that I came up with, and doing the sheets helped, is what if like 10% of coins stakes for 50 years? Then they're going to get a 10x multiple on their shares. So if 10% of the coins stake for 50 years, they've got the equivalent of 100% of the coins staked for like 1 week, right? And I thought, well, do I really want to incentivize a bunch of stakes that are 50 years long, which reduces the payout now by diluting the share pool for people that just stake less long. I'm like, no. Like, I'd rather have more people lock up their coins now till year 5, year 10, and not reward everyone for 50-year stakes to a degree that's insane, right? Because, like, if you care about keeping supply off the market to keep the price high, does it matter to you whether a 50-year staked coin came off market or a 1 minute staked coin? No, it's still a coin off the market. So to pay one guy 10x as much to pull a coin out of supply seemed a little bit overkill. So then I told the devs, I'm like, all right, let's cap the longer pays better maximum bonus to 200%, which would leave you with a 3x the profit of a guy that just did like a 1 week stake, right? So if, instead of a stake in a week, you stake a year in a week, you're going to get, 20% more. And you could do that all the way up to like 10 years. And then you're going to get a 3x, which is 200% bonus shares. But then after that, you just won't get more bonus shares.
It is built on Ethereum, I believe. And it is going to have I guess, a day or a snapshot or a block where maybe you could get into it a little bit, Rich, exactly what's going to happen and how people could claim their coin.
Yeah, so it's real easy. Imagine that you had like a spreadsheet that had a list of everyone that you owed money to. Well, that's what Bitcoin is, pretty much. It's just this big spreadsheet that everyone just stores that says, okay, these guys have money. If they have the private keys, they can spend it. That's all it is. And so if you wanted to take that system state, take a snapshot of it, take a copy of the spreadsheet and go, okay, if you had money here, now we're going to give you money there. And we make a new spreadsheet and we copy all the names over. And if you had private keys to that spreadsheet, cool. Just prove it by signing something that we can prove, that you did. It's just a little statement. It's a feature in your wallet. It's called signed statement. Not all wallets have it. Good wallets do. And then you can claim your coins on this new thing. So if you had Bitcoin, you can get, for every Bitcoin you had, you'll get 10,000 BitcoinHEX. But I got to stop calling it BitcoinHEX because we're rebranding. We're dropping the Bitcoin name. It's gone. So no more Bitcoin logo, no more Bitcoin name, no more association with it. It's just HEX.
Wow. Now, may I ask why Ethereum? Why did you decide to go that route?
Yeah. So here's all I care about. I have a very simple belief as to what makes crypto valuable today. Okay? Fantasy dreamland, what might make crypto valuable in the future, you can dream up whatever you want. Oh, it's going to replace the dollar. Sure, dude. Maybe, right? What I have is today. Okay, what we have today is the two most valuable things you can buy with your Bitcoin are altcoins or US dollars in an exchange. That's it. Less than 4% of retailers accept it. Far, far less. Less than 4% of the top, 500 retailers. Less than 4 million wallets exist with over $100 in them. Most people have more than one address. Okay, so when I say wallets, that's incorrect. It's addresses. Less than 4 million addresses have over $100 in them, which means if you're minimum number where you consider someone actually a user of the stuff is $100, which ain't asking much, I might say. Clash of Clans has 100 million users and their average ticket's far over $100. Otherwise, it wouldn't make the $1 billion a year they make, right? I'll do the math on that.
Wow.
So they, and I think it's net. I think they net $1 billion. I think they gross more. Check it. Check the numbers yourself. If you don't like their numbers, the other 4 or 5 top games also have about the same numbers. Casual games, free games that magically turn not free.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
If you look at Bitcoin, which has been around for 10 years, to only have less than 4 million users with $100 in it, I think is pitiful. So I need to be able to do better. In order to do better, I need a better tool, right? So there are a lot of people that have made a lot of money on Bitcoin, right? So exchanges have made a ton. Mining hardware companies have made a ton. Wallets haven't made anything, which just sucks, right? So the people that are most in control of the user experience for the thing to do what it's supposed to do, which is get rid of middlemen, they make the least money. So the user experience sucks. Wallet devs, which are the most important people in the ecosystem, the most likely people to catch security bugs, the most likely people to make this whole thing work better, they don't get paid shit. Who makes all the money? The middlemen, the people we're trying to get rid of. They make all the money. Exchanges make all the money. Margin trading makes all the money. You know, like, it's a tragedy of the commons. It's backwards and fucked up, and it's like, it ain't gonna get fixed. So, so what would you need in order to fix that? Well, you'd need like one large stakeholder that had a large enough share that he could pay to onboard new users, and he could like have a financial monetary incentive to make the UI UX better, right? Because he's got a large enough portion of the stack that when the thing gets better, you know, his stack goes up enough, right, to make it cash positive for him. So you're not going to get things like that. You're not going to get a Super Bowl ad for Bitcoin. You're not going to get a wallet that makes money. It's been 10 years. You know, a lot of places ATMs have shut down. A lot of places retailers have stopped accepting it. These are not normal behaviors for a successful startup. Now, some things have gotten better. Maybe Lightning will work out, which, by the way, has absolutely nothing to do with Bitcoin at all. Nothing. It does not run, like, the Lightning project is built by different devs than the core software. The network it talks on is a different network, talks over different ports. Like, the only common thing, like, all Lightning is a really cool fancy way to trade pre-signed Bitcoin transactions that are time locked. Mm-hmm. So if this guy unwraps and proves he paid, then this guy gets to settle and all that stuff. Like, and it works for any network, right? So if you like Lightning, which I think it's awesome, it's also on Ethereum, right? So they've got Raiden, state channels, Plasma. That's all the same stuff. Trading about pre-signed on-chain transactions. So, like, yeah, it's awesome, it's cool, but it's not really Bitcoin, which is the reason it will be applied everywhere else that anyone wants to use it. It's a great idea, you know, but it's not going to give Bitcoin some competitive advantage above and beyond the other tokens that choose to employ it. So, like, my point is, in order to make a larger impact than Bitcoin has, you need to do UI UX better, and things like overpaying miners. How good is it that miners make tons and tons of money that they then hand to mining hardware manufacturers and to the electric company? So they just get paid to pollute. It's not great. It's not wonderful, right? And those guys, they don't talk to you on Twitter. They don't give a shit about what you have to say. They don't seem to be the most friendly folks, right? Like, I do live streams all the time. You know, I used to be a miner. Back when mining was on GPUs, you could talk to all the other gamers and, you know, overclock your GPUs and install custom BIOSes to get some more volts in there, and, you know, do a lot of cool stuff as a community to mine this thing and make the network work. But then as soon as ASICs came along, they don't even speak English anymore. They're a totally different alien community that doesn't even interact with you at all, right?
Wow.
And then you're like, but in Ethereum, they still have GPU miners, and they care about that, so they're changing the proof of work to get rid of ASICs, and they're switching to a proof of work called Prog POW, just to get rid of ASICs. That's fucking beautiful, right? So if you want to mine Bitcoin right now and you got a GPU in your computer, fuck yourself. You ain't making any money. But if you want to mine Ethereum, you can. I'm not sure you're going to make money, but at least you're able to break even, maybe, right? You don't even have a break even option if you're trying to mine Bitcoin, because you need an ASIC, which is like, you know, $1,000, $2,000. So it's a better mining ecosystem. You asked me why I chose Ethereum. They have the most hash rate, the most developers, never had an inflation bug. They have a bug bounty program. They're just more friendly. The testing is better, right? So there is auditing companies that know how to audit smart contracts that you can go to. That doesn't really exist for like a Bitcoin fork. You're like, oh, you got a Bitcoin fork? Well, those don't get audited. It's not even a thing, right? Like, Bitcoin's not audited, and no Bitcoin fork is audited. It's the attack surface is just too large. They look at the EXE and they're like, yeah, this will take a couple of years. Hope you don't plan on changing anything. Like, it's a nightmare, right? Which is why you keep getting these bugs. Like, software's hard, you know. We just had an inflation bug discovered by a Bitcoin Cash developer less than a year ago. Now, to tell you what inflation bug means, that means some guy can just print as many coins as he wants. That was less than a year ago in Bitcoin with the best devs, right? Like, I still think they're the best devs, but that inflation bug shit shook me. I'm like, oh, so like we're basically like one double click exe away from the network, just printing free money for somebody. I don't like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
in HEX, once the smart contract is on the network, you can't change it ever. People can double click whatever exe they want. That smart contract is what it is. You can't change it, right? It's not up to negotiation. So there's advantages. There's a ton of advantages to using Ethereum.